Well, before I begin, of course, I'm proud to recognize my colleague in Congress, Mr. Representative John Larson, who is here with me. Thank you so much. And I have to recognize, of course, Walt Harrison. Walt came a year after, but I have to tell you, I'm closer to him as the president of this school than anybody else. And I have to tell you how amazing he has been, and he has put this school on the map. Thank you so much for your service. I'd also have to recognize my old Hart School and say, yes, you brought down the stage with that performance. Thank you very much. It is so wonderful to be with all of you today. You know, it's great to be back to places filled with so many memories. My mind has gone back to places and spaces on this campus, many lessons learned, and so many people who made a difference in my life. My time here as a student stretched me and strengthened me, positioned me to recognize opportunities so that I can rise to my full potential. One of those amazing faculty members who challenged me was a man by the name of Peter Flint. He was our teacher, and sadly he passed away far too soon. But he is forever a part of my life and the lives of those he blessed by his vision and direction. Peter had a motto for those of us in music theater. He had us memorize it, but more importantly, he challenged us to live it. The motto said, "I am an artist. These are my emotions, and I own them, and I like them. My talent comes from something other than myself, but I alone am responsible for them. I will dare to be bad so that I may be good. I'm an artist. I am that I am." Peter continually challenged us to rise and gave us the courage that we needed and said it was okay to be bad because he knew that that was the way we were going to get to the good and ultimately to the best within us. Above all, Peter expected us to take responsibilities and ownership for the gifts and talents we had. Winston Churchill said it this way: "There comes a time in each one of our lives where we're figuratively tapped on the shoulders and asked to do something special, unique, and specific to our talents. What a shame if that moment finds us unwilling or unprepared for what could have been our finest hour." The great question you will face in the years ahead is, am I prepared to rise in such moments? I hope you consider today, graduation day, the first step to accepting that tap on the shoulder that will lead you to a lifetime of fine hours and rise to the full measure of your potential. Two things I want you to keep in mind as you get ready to rise. First, your ability to rise will be shackled or bolstered by your ability to engage in elevated dialogue. I know this may seem crazy for a member of Congress to talk about elevated dialogue, but believe me, it is the key to all of our finest hours. As a nation, as individuals, and as a community, we must get comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. We cannot rise if we are constantly spewing divisive, demonizing rhetoric. It's so tempted to melt down somebody's Twitter feed or blow up someone's Facebook page with anger-filled words of frustration. Someone wisely said, "Speak in anger, and you will give the best speech you will ever live to regret." Even if it's sharing a virtual speech on social media, the result is the same. So remember this: every moment captured on screen lives forever, and friends keep friends off YouTube. The solution to any problem begins when someone says, "Let's talk about it." We have a long way to go as a country, but it starts with each one of us individually being willing to have an elevated conversation about the challenges that we face today. It's impossible to rise without being comfortable and confident in a higher dialogue. The second is this: remember that your goal is to rise with, not over, others. There is an old Scottish saying, "Thee lift me, and I'll lift thee, and together we'll ascend." Sadly, our society tells us more and more that we should just look out for number one and not worry about anyone else. My mom and dad came to this country with $10 in their pocket in an attempt to rise above the poverty and the strife of their native country, Haiti. Through grit, determination, he and my mom provided me and my siblings with the opportunity to rise in pursuit of our version of the American dream. I will always remember that moment when my dad dropped me off here on campus for orientation day. He was so excited and incredibly giddy, as if he were the one that was able to start a new adventure away from home. I don't know if it was away from my mom, but he was ready to come with me. At one point, he looked at me very seriously and he said, "Mia, your mom and I have done everything we could to get us to this point today. You will not be a burden to society. You will give back. You will contribute. You will make a difference for others." What he was really telling me is that it was part of my responsibility, not just to rise for myself, but to bring others to come along with me, just as they had done for me. I must confess, stepping onto campus that day, the thought of being a mayor, a mother, a member of Congress was not remotely on my mind. But when I stepped off the campus, as each of you will today, I was ready to rise to new roles. I was ready to take on responsibilities and opportunities. Each of these roles have given me the opportunity to learn, to engage in elevated dialogue, to help others rise to their potential. You are the rising generation. You are the leaders not just for tomorrow, but for today. So today, I challenge you to rise your sight, not just your status, as you enter a workforce and a world in desperate need of your talents, your energy, your gifts, and your commitment. Now remember, the second part of Churchill's statement was about taps on the shoulders, opportunities to rise. There's one more quote I would like to share with you, and it's given by a man with the name of John Greenleaf Whittier. He wrote, "Of all the sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these: it might have been." Guys, we cannot accept what might have been. It's a horrible and taunting phrase. 50 years from now, you will have more regrets about the opportunities that you didn't take, the mountains you didn't climb, the adventures you did not pursue than you will ever have of the opportunities you actually took, even when you try and you fail. When we fail to continuously learn, we will be left with what might have been. When we fail to engage in elevated dialogues in our homes, in our communities, in our place of employment, we will be left with what might have been. When we fail to lift others, when we ourselves rise, we, this entire nation, will be left with what might have been. A few years ago, my family and I were at an event where there was a large hot air balloon that was there as part of the fun, and I had an opportunity to go up in this hot air balloon. As the time approached, they told me I can bring one of my kids with me. So I decided to bring my son, who was 7 at the time, to jump in with me. He hesitated and resisted and said, "No, Mom, I'm not going up in that thing." I don't know if any of you have ever been on a hot air balloon. There is no forward, back, right, or left. There's only up or down. So we jumped in the balloon, and off we went, and we were enjoying the beauty of the landscapes until the wind picked up. Well, let's just say that we heard the word brace one too many times. We dodged power lines and scraped the rooftops of many homes. And my son, who was in the truck following the balloon, was below me. He was watching the whole thing from above. And finally, we landed not in the park where we started, but in somebody's backyard. He ran over to me, and he started shouting, "Mommy, my turn, my turn." Unfortunately, with now the windy conditions, the balloons, all of them had to stay on the ground. The opportunity to rise and soar in the sky came and was gone. And I took my son aside, and I said, "Son, remember this moment. Because in life, especially here in the United States of America, if you don't take an opportunity, it can quickly pass, and you will never know if it'll come back again." Graduates, your experience on campus have given you a view from higher up. Remember those experiences. Remember what it felt like to gain that new perspective, to understand that new knowledge, to ace that test, to master a new skill or maximize your talents. So that when life knocks you down, and I promise you, it will knock you down, you will get back up because you know what it takes to rise. So my challenge to each of you is the same one that I give to my colleagues in Congress. Create opportunities for yourself, for those who you love, and for good people all over this country. To you graduates, I say, you've got this. This is your tap on the shoulder. This is your time. These are your days. Rise. God bless you.